Act 3, The End. I'm Karen Beery with Right Now Editing, where we turn good manuscripts into great books.
And I'm Pegg Thomas, multi-award winning author and editor, and we are two editors for 5 minutes.
And if
Start
you've been
the
following
timer.
us, I saw the timer. If you've been following us the last few weeks, this is Act 3 or Act 4, depending on whether or not you use the three or four act structure.
You should be about 75% of the way through your book.
Yes. Regardless, it's the end of the book. This is where your tension and your conflict has peaked. We're at the end of Act Two, and what does that transition look like from Act Three? What does it look like from that middle portion into the conclusion of your manuscript, Peg?
Well, just to recap, the first part, you're setting up your story. You've got your introducing normal, introducing your characters. You've got some tension going in there. You come to the first end of the first act, being the second act. Things have got to change. Something's got to push this character on their journey. You come to the midpoint, and then the something's got to change again. A lot of people call that the midpoint twist, the midpoint shift, whatever. Your character suddenly has to step up, take charge, do what they're supposed to do. You get to that 75 percentile. You get to the beginning, the end of Act Two, or the beginning of Act Four, depending on how you do it. And now, generally, you want to pull the rug out from under the poor guy or girl. This is kind of the time where some people call it the dark moment. Some people there's lots of names for it, but your character is going to go from being in charge, from working this and trying to get things going, and not that it's all smooth, like you have said before. There's going to be ups and downs, but this is the point where you're going to kind of jerk the rug out from under their feet, and it's going to be sink or swim time, and that's going to be
This,
your tension at this point.
yeah, this is the point. And like Peg said, people call it different. I used to try to use, the point of no return or thing, but because everybody has a different term for it, I've just stick with door one is from Act One to Act Two, and door two is into the ending. So this is that second door, and this is a point where really the character's future is in his own hands. Somebody isn't forcing him to do something. He has to make a decision. And generally at this point, your character's life is going to change regardless of what decision they make. The best example, because we did start with Bilbo Baggins. We started with a little bit of Lord of the Rings. So if you look at the Lord of the Rings trilogy, by the time you get to Return of the King, and Frodo is at Mount Doom and he has that ring, he has two options. He can either throw the ring into the fire or he can keep it. Regardless of what he does, his life is forever changed. Like there is no going back. This is where, when you come into Act Three, we started the book showing what life was like, normal life. When you come into Act Three, your character is going to create a new normal because everything that has happened has changed your character so much. Um, whether whatever's happening with the plot, things in life has changed, character arc has changed, something has changed so that when Act 3 ends, there's a new normal for your characters.
A good way to look at this, if you're thinking romance, and both of us have written romance and have edited a ton of romance, is you get to that first door or the end of Act One, you get where normal is, and you're coming to this new phase, and it's all the uncertainty and whatever's going. You get to that midpoint twist. One or the other of those characters has generally decided this person is for me, right? By then, you get to that next door two, was what you call it. I call it the 75% twist. Usually by then, one of them has figured out this will never work. So you've gone from neither one of us really want this to one of us really wants this to it can't happen. Now they don't both have to feel that way, but one or the other, that's generally what you
Yes.
see in romance. And so now they've got that last 25% of the book to figure it out.
And there's that, and that's the reason why they call that part of the book. That's where the climax is, because this is the peak of the action, and we're just about out of time here. So you know that you're from there. You're gonna start at the peak of the action. You've got to bring it back down. You've got to establish that normal. And the number one thing that you have to include in that last act of your book is you have to resolve the conflict. You have to give your readers a satisfying ending.
Yes. And you have to wrap up all those little side shoots that you've been putting out there, the little subplot. Everything has to be wrapped up in this 25 percentile.
And we took it right to the end. That is 5 minutes right there.
For
We could
professionals, don't try this at home.
yeah, we could talk about this for a lot longer, but we promised you 5 minutes, so we're gonna end it right here. We'll see you again next week with some topic we have yet to determine. Until then, I'm Karen Beery.
And I'm Peg Thomas. We'll see you next time.
Bye.